Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm here to share with you how to crochet a scarf. This is a little bit of a different scarf. I've been seeing these kind of lacy looking scarves around and I've really wanted to try it out, so I did, and I thought I would share my project with you all. It's a 4-row pattern repeat, so pretty simple and pretty easy. You'll need to know treble crochets and double treble crochets. I'm working in UK terminology. That would be a double crochet and a triple crochet, I'm pretty sure, in US terminology. You're going to need some chunky yarn, so it's still a nice chunky scarf, perfect for the colder months but also kind of leaning into like the spring and summertime months as well. I'm using this chunky yarn, which I'll leave a link in the description box down below. You'll need about 1.5 balls, so a little over 100 grams. I'm using the corresponding crochet hook, which is a 6mm, and a pair of scissors to chop off my ends. So without further ado, we shall begin and I will teach you how to do this scarf. Okay then, so to begin we're going to make a slip knot, which you can do this in whichever way that you prefer. I do have a video on it on my channel, so I will leave a link in the description box down below. Insert your hook and just pull tight. Now this scarf is pretty adaptable. You can make it a little bit thicker than you want, or you can make it a little bit longer if you like, but I'm just going to show you the measurements that worked for me when I was creating it, and then if you want to adapt it you can do. So we're going to start by chaining 23 chains. So that is going to count as 20 chain spaces and a chain 3, which is going to count as our first treble crochet. That will make more sense when we come to it. If you want to adapt this and make it a little bit of a thicker width of scarf, all you need to do is chain a number of even chains and then +3 to the end, so that in the end you have a number of odd chains. So all we're going to do is just yarn over and pull through. That's 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains, all the way up to 20 plus 3, so 23. Okay then, so there I have my even number +3, and then we can begin row number 1 of the pattern repeat. So row number 1 is super simple. We're just going to treble crochet all the way along into every single chain space around. That is a treble crochet in UK terms and a double crochet in US terms. So you're going to begin with the 4th chain from the hook. So we don't count this chain on our hook. We're not going to go into this one. That's number 1, 2 and 3, but we're going to find this 4th chain and we're going to work our first treble. So yarn over, insert your hook down into that chain space, yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook now. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and you're going to yarn over and pull through another 2 loops. So what that's going to do is have your chain 3 as your turning stitch, so that's going to count as your first treble crochet, and then this one here is going to count as your second, and you're just going to work that all the way along until you reach the end of the row. I'll work a couple more with you now. Yarn over, insert your hook down into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over into the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So there you have a total of 5 trebles worked, so this chain 3 counting as your first and these 4 counting as your next 4. You're going to work treble crochets all the way until the end of your row, and I will meet you back when you have done that. So pause the video here, work that all the way along, and I will meet you back for row number 2. Okay then, so there I've worked that all the way along for row number 1, and now we're ready to begin row number 2. So all you're going to do is begin with a chain of 5. So this is going to count as a double treble, so in US a triple, and also a chain 1. So the chain 4 will count as your double treble, and your chain 1 will obviously count as your chain 1. So you're going to yarn over and pull through, and you're going to work that 5 times, 3, 4 and 5, and you're going to turn your work. So now we're going to be working into alternate treble crochets. That'll make sense when we start our row. So this treble already has a stitch or the equivalent of a stitch coming out, and then we have chained one. So that chain one is going to skip over this treble crochet here, and we're going to begin in this third treble crochet. So this one here already has a stitch, this one's been skipped by the chain one, and this one we're going to work into. So for this stitch you're going to yarn over twice, you're going to insert your hook down into that treble crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through another 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through your final 2 loops. That is going to count as your first double treble. So now what we need to do is chain one to skip over this next treble crochet. So chain one, that means that we skip this treble crochet and move on to the next treble crochet in the row. Yarn over twice, insert your hook down into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through your final 2 loops. Then we need to chain one, skipping this treble crochet and moving on to the next one, yarn over twice, and work your double treble crochet. So for this stitch you're working 1 double treble crochet, 1 chain one, making sure that you skip the treble crochet and move on to the next treble crochet, if that makes sense. So I'll meet you at the end of this row, and then we can move on to row number 3. Pause the video here, work that all the way along, and I will meet you back at the end of the row. So this is how yours should be looking. I've just finished my last double treble and my chain one, but I still have a space to work into. So all we're going to do is work into the top of this chain 3 space using your double treble. And what that does is it just makes sure that you have nice straight edges for this scarf. So into the top of your chain 3, just work a simple double treble, like so, and then we're ready for row number 3. So for row number 3 you're going to begin with a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn your work over to the right side of the piece. That chain of 4 is going to count as your first double treble. So for this row we're going to work slightly different but very similar. We're going to be working double trebles and chain ones. Our double trebles are going to be worked into the chain one spaces, and the chain ones are going to be worked over our double treble spaces. That will become much clearer when we work through it. But because we're at the beginning, something a little bit different happens. We have to work 2 double crochets in a row, just to make sure that we're on the right pattern. So we're working with a double treble, which is going to count as this chain 4 here, and that's going to be our first stitch. Then into this chain 1 space we're just going to work another double treble. So just working another double treble, just so that we're on the right pattern. Now we have a double treble to work over, so we're just going to chain 1, and into the chain 1 space we're going to work another double treble. This is what gives it a lacy look, using alternate chains. Then we're going to skip over this stitch and chain 1, working into the chain 1 space a double treble. So again, you're just going to continue that all the way along. It's very similar to row number 2, and then I will meet you back at the end to finish off this row. Pause the video here, work that all the way along, and I will meet you back at the end of the row. At the end of this row is something a little bit different. We obviously have our chain 5 from the row before, and all we need to do is work 1 final double treble into that stitch. We're not going to chain any, we're not going to do anything. It's going to kind of mirror the beginning of this row, just so that we're on the right pattern. We need to finish off with another double treble. So just take your work another double treble into the top of that chain 5 space, and there we will have a straight edge, and we'll have finished our row number 3. So we're now on to row number 4, which is our final row of our pattern repeat, and this is the exact same as row number 2, but obviously we're working in 2 different spaces. So you're going to begin with a chain of 5, and turning your work. That chain of 5 is going to count as your first double treble crochet to make sure the edges are straight, and your chain 1 to skip over this first stitch here. So that means we can begin with a double treble into this chain 1 space here. Working a double treble, and then just repeating like we have done the past couple of rows, using a chain 1 to skip over the double trebles and a double treble to fill in the gap of the chain 1 space from the row previous. Chain 1 and work another double treble. So pause the video here, work that all the way along for row number 4, and I will meet you back when you have finished that. So once again, the last stitch is a little bit different. I've just worked my chain 1 to skip over this final double treble, and you're going to work your final double treble into the top of this chain 4 space, and that's going to finish your round. Okay then, so the next row is going to be our row of treble crochets. So what we're going to do is chain 3, which is going to count as your first treble crochet, and you're going to turn your work. So what you're going to do for this row is to work into every single stitch and space. So this chain 3 counts as your first treble crochet coming out of this double treble. Then you're going to work a treble crochet into the chain space. Now that's just one single yarn over. And then you're going to work a treble crochet into the top of this double treble stitch. So it's a little bit different. We're not working alternately, we're working into every stitch and into every space along the row. So that is going to be your first row of the second pattern repeat that you're going to work. So pause the video here, work that all the way along, and I will meet you back at the end of that row. Okay then, so I've just finished that row, and this is how your first pattern repeat shall be looking. So for my scarf, I worked 23 pattern repeats, so that's 23 of these 4 rows, and I added a final row of treble crochets onto the end. So I'm going to work that now. If you want to make your scarf a little bit longer, you can do, just add in more pattern repeats. If you want to make it smaller, obviously take off some pattern repeats, but I used around 23 for the length of my scarf. So pause the video here, work that until you have a suitable length of scarf that you want to have, and then I will meet you back at the end to finish off. Okay then, so here is how my scarf is looking after the 23 repeats. Plus I've just added a row of treble crochet to finish off so that it looks kind of uniform. I've just chopped off my ends, so now you will need to sew in your ends for your scarf. So this is the video today. If you do want to add something a little bit extra, you could add kind of an edging to your piece. But I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you found it helpful and were able to create a beautiful kind of springy scarf in all fabulous different colours. Try it out with different stripes, different colours, different contrasts to see how each one looks. But leave a like if you did enjoy this video, comment down below any questions that you may have, subscribe so you never miss a video and you can join this wonderful crafting community, and I will see you all very soon with another one. Bye!